In 2015, Sony celebrated the 20th anniversary of the PlayStation 1. And to celebrate that, they released a special edition of the PlayStation 4 in the colorway of the PlayStation 1. I wasn't able to get one at retail price, and the aftermarket prices are way too high for me. So I decided to mod a PlayStation 2 to the colorway of the PlayStation 1 to have my own 20th anniversary model. Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of MudbrainsTvDiy Do It Yourself. Today it's a PlayStation centric episode. As I mentioned, I really like the design of the PlayStation 4 20th anniversary edition, but I wasn't able to get one. A couple of weeks back, a friend of mine gave me a broken Ps2. And I thought I wanted to repaint the Ps2 in a way that resembles the 20th anniversary PlayStation 4 edition that tries to resemble the PlayStation 1. So I wanted to repaint the Ps2 to look like this, to resemble the Ps4 20th anniversary edition. And let me show you what I came up with. This is the repainted PlayStation 2. Have a look at some better quality pictures. Yeah, let me show you how I did it. The PlayStation that my friend gave me was a very used one. It must have had a couple of thousand gameplay hours on its back, and then it just died. But I gave it a new life. The plan was to paint the broken PlayStation, and if I liked the paint job, then I wanted to switch the case with my existing one. To start off the whole thing, I had to disassemble the PlayStation. I looked up a site called ifixit.com. There's good step-by-step tutorials for different hardware and how you can disassemble and repair it. I used that just that somebody told me where all the screws are, because some are hidden and I did it for the first time, so it took me quite some time. After I disassembled all the parts, I used some rubbing alcohol and just made sure that there were no greases. There was no grease on there, no dirt, especially fingerprints, because there's some fat in there and the paint won't stick to it. And after I had done that, I took some sanding paper and lightly sanded the whole box so that the spray paint would have a better chance of sticking to the plastic coating of the PlayStation. After I sanded it, I wiped it clean again, and then I was basically ready to start. No, I forgot one thing. There's a sticker on the back of the PlayStation. Here, it's this one with the model numbers and everything. And I didn't want to paint over it, so I removed it, and that took quite some time. It's a very good sticker. Now it was clean, and I had to cover all the stuff where I didn't want it to get painted. So here's this USB port surrounding blue thing. I covered it in masking tape and then cut away the masking tape, but you can see that there. And I removed the Sony thing that you can pry off, and I removed the PlayStation logo. So then in preparation to spray paint it, I glued some handles to the inside of the shell. Some like this. I used double-sided tape. Here, like double-sided tape. And then it was easier to spray paint the whole thing. I built a little extra handle for the DVD tray cover, so I can spray it from all sides. Now I applied the first coat of color. So it's important when you spray paint something that you try to give it very thin coats of paint and just give it more coats of paint. Not just one thick one, for the color will try to drop and smear and everything, and it will dry very slowly. So try to give it a couple of coats, but thin coats. So I gave the first coat of color some hours to dry, for it had to be like not just dry to the touch, but dried through. And then I wiped it all clean with a cotton towel. So for all dust particles that sat onto it while it was drying, I wiped them away, and I sanded it a bit, for it was not very even. Or maybe it was just not even because there were dust particles on there, and then the spray paint encapsulated the dust particles, and so I sanded it, and it went off to the second coat. Second coat, same as before, another thin layer. And after it, I gave it some time to dry, and then wiped it all down. So then I applied the third coat of paint, and now I let the whole thing dry for 24 hours. Of course, in the next step, I wanted to mask on top of the paint. And if the paint is not completely dry, you will rip off some paint for, it hasn't dried fully. So give it more time after the final coat of your base color. So on the PS4, on the 20th anniversary edition, or on the PS4 in general, there's a stripe on the front side, and I definitely wanted to have this stripe on my console too. So I decided to give it a gradient here, from like this turquoise to a green, which was supposed to resemble the colors on the power button and on the open button. So I took that as a base and wanted to have this gradient there. So I masked off everything. It's the stripe is 4 millimeters wide, and it is located 8 millimeters below the PlayStation logo. I masked it off and then masked off the whole rest of the console. And then I gave it a coat of green paint. So I just needed one coat for that. Waited a couple of minutes, and then came in with a light blue, with this turquoise, I don't know the word in English, with that color, and just very lightly sprayed on one half of the console, and with this building up the gradient that you are able to see here. It was a bit difficult to spray paint these, so I had to like push them to the inside, and then I used some little wood sticks to hold them there, masked off the rest, and spray painted these while they were still attached to the main case. And here I used, for sure, I used a darker gray, and same for the DVD tray, and I wanted it to, in a way, resemble the buttons on the old PS1. So it needed to be darker. So I choose a darker tone than on the PS1, because through this design here, a very light gray and just a very subtle difference between the two grays didn't show enough. So now the main color scheme was finished, and the next thing was that I wanted to have a little bit more going on the top side of this console. So I decided to bring in the classic symbols from the game buttons, from the controller buttons. To build the stencils for the symbols on the front side, I just used some masking tape that I put on a piece of plastic, And then I drew the symbols on there, cut them out, and because I used the masking tape on a plastic sheet, I could peel them off the plastic sheet as if they were a sticker of some kind. Then I positioned them where they were supposed to go and masked off the rest of the console. And then I spray painted the lower part with the stencils on there with a clear glossy spray paint. So there's this matte finish on the top side and this glossy finish on the lower side. I think this looks really good. Basically, that was it. I gave the console another 24 hours to dry, and after that I swapped the internals. And now what I wanted to come back to, that I really had a problem swapping the internals from the broken one, the shell from the broken one, and the internals of the working one were not really compatible. So not all holes fixed. No. Not every hole was in the same position for these two consoles as it was with the other shell. So I had to cut away some stuff and glue a little bit and shit to make it work. If you're just going to paint your working PS2, there is no problem, because you just disassemble it, spray paint it, and put it all back together. If you do a case swap, just be aware of different model numbers. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That was the making of my 20th anniversary PlayStation 2. I love it. If you liked it, please like, share, subscribe, come back. Have a nice day. Hope we see each other. Hope you tune in next time. Have a nice day. Bye.